Hi, I want to talk to you about what's happening at the White House itself, just in case you haven't heard. So, starting in September, unless we're able to do something to stop it, the president is beginning construction on a ballroom. He calls it a ballroom. It's more like a conference center, 90,000 square feet that will be attached to the east wing of the White House. The White House itself is 55,000 square feet. So, this new ballroom is going to just dwarf the original building. And one of the things I've always loved about this building is that I feel it's a perfect expression of an ideal, and that's that the building is grand, but not grandiose. When I was in college, I read a book. It was by Albert Speer, who was Hitler's architect. The book is called Inside the Third Reich. And he said something in that book that I never forgot. He was talking about how Hitler had told him that after the war, he wanted to redesign Berlin. And he wanted to do it along the lines of Paris, only bigger. So where Paris has a huge boulevard called the Champs-Élysées, Berlin would have one, but much bigger. On one side is the palace, the Louvre, at the end of the Champs-Élysées. Berlin would have a palace, but much bigger. On the other side of the Champs-Élysées is the Arc de Triomphe. Hitler said, we're going to have an Arc de Triomphe, only bigger. In other words, Speer was saying, when a society is gone off the rails, when it's in decline, when it is morally hollowed out, things become oversized. You see this architecturally, you see it in the art and sculpture. And the example that Speer used was ancient Roman architecture, which was huge, versus ancient Greek architecture, which was life-sized. Now, what we know about this president is when it comes to the functioning of our government, what he can't demolish, he desecrates. And that's what's happening here. This is not necessary, a ballroom. When the numbers of a White House function are bigger than either the East Room or the State Dining Room can handle, they build a tent. But this tent isn't like some tent that you take when you're going to hike through Yosemite. This is a tent like around Elizabeth Taylor's wedding reception. No one has complained that I know of other than this president. The White House as it is not good enough for him. He wants us to forget our national symbols. He wants to forget our history. He wants to rewrite everything with his name on it. Now, he knows he can't put Trump on the North Portico, but this is the closest that he feels that he can get. And also, I drove past the White House yesterday. He has replaced the flagpole. So whereas there used to be a flagpole on the top of the building, just like any other flagpole, proudly waving the American flag, he has now put these two huge flagpoles, one on the north, one on the south, with those huge American flags like you see at car dealerships. This is going to happen, all of this, unless we make a lot of noise, because he's doing it because he can. It changes the entire structure of the building. It changes the entire character of the building. Some people say, well, you know, if you go to Europe, you go to other countries, there are huge palaces. That's the point. We don't have a king. Even in England, yes, the king lives in a big palace, but the head of the government, the one who actually runs things, is the prime minister, and he lives in relative simplicity at 10 Downing Street. You can see pictures and all of this at my Substack, mariannewilliamson.substack.com. But let me just leave you with this. Public pressure does matter. Write to your congresspeople. Get online, make videos, make memes, make noise. That's our power here, and unfortunately, it's our only power here. And yes, I know that the building itself is just a symbol, but symbols matter. And if we don't stand up right now for things that matter, I'm not sure our lives really do the way they should. So, the White House is a very, very special symbol. Let's not mess with it, and let's not let him mess with it either.